I think a lot of people will be interested to know like how this bromance began, because I honestly don't really know like what the start of it was. How did you guys meet each other?
Well, Jay's was always a longtime Stoolian fan of Barstool, and I actually like, no joke, like owe a lot to Jay, because back in the day when we were starting Barstool Chicago, we had like no money as a company, and I remember I said to Dave, like, we got to make this shirt. Yeah. We would put the Chicago flag with the stools. It will sell like hotcakes. And he's like, I don't know. It was back like when shipping shirts took like a month. Yeah. So I went and had 3 of them handmade and got them to Jay. And Jay wore it at a press conference. And that was like our first big moment for Barstool Chicago.
Yeah, I remember whenever Barstool was kind of up and rolling. And, back then it was more just, the written stuff with like a picture, a video and stuff. And you really got to I feel like you really got to feel whoever was writing, their writing style and stuff. And we would always see even some of the guys when Big Cat started doing it, like, this dude's funny, like he gets it. And then I don't know how we found you.
Yeah, I can't remember what the exact connection. I remember I met Chewy in the halftime of a Bears game and gave him the shirts. Yeah. And then we started hanging out from there.
I know, but how did we first track you down?
I can't remember exactly. Oh, that's a good question. Fuck.
Do you guys remember? Oh, you do?
Who? Oh, yeah, Neil. Yeah. That's right, the charity event. Yes. Yes, because we would do your charity event every year, and then that started, and it was huge because it's like the starting quarterback for Chicago Bears is wearing our shirt and like a fan of ours. And now, was it Greg Olson who got you into Barstool? Because he claims that.
It could be.
Yeah,
I think we found it. I'll give him credit. We might have found it at kind of similar times.
But it was you and Greg, and I'm trying to think. There was maybe a couple other, but like. Yeah, Ryan Whitney, like there's basically 3 or 4 guys in like the early days who were pro athletes who were like, these guys are funny. Yeah. And it was so fucking huge.
Yeah, I mean, you guys took it and just skyrocketed.
Yeah, and then
Big Cat made a lot of money selling the Cutler shirts and the Marlboro cigarettes.
The Marlboro cigarettes.
Did he ever give you a taste? Did he give you
that one? Got
cease
and desisted. That one got taken down. The Marlboro one. That was a great shirt.
I have one.
Yeah, you have one. Yeah. I'll give you some more. I actually think we did a limited release. We had the Dicka shirt that he wore at a press conference.
That was a good one.
Yeah, we were, and then we became friends, and like we would hang out, probably once a month, and then I said I would take Andy Dalton over him. I had the flu. This was back when I had to like really grind. I remember
You're playing hurt, yeah.
It was Ben Finfer was hosting 8 to 9 p.m. on ESPN 1000, and they're like, "Hey, can you come in and?"
So you're blaming?
No. He was like, "Can you do this?" And I was like, "It was a point in my career where it's like, you don't say no to anything. Like, you tell me where, I'll be there. I'm doing it."
Yeah.
I was like so sick. I pounded 2 Red Bulls in 2 Dayquils.
I mean, look at you now. You just wear jumpsuits and you call the shots.
I got it made. And some caller called in and was like, "Would you take Dalton or Cutler?" And Andy was like 5 years younger. And I was like, given everything, I'd probably take Dalton right now. Went home, went to sleep, slept till like noon because I was so sick. Woke up, and there was a bunch of text messages being like, "Hey, Big Cat, way to go, dude. Like, you're just going to take Dalton over Cutler." Jay never said it. Jay, to his credit, he never was like, "Fuck you, dude." It was the rest of his crew that are loyal, and they're like, what's your problem? And that was kind of it. For a while.
Yeah, we took a break.
Yeah, we went through a break and now we're back. But it was always like, I mean, it was, it actually taught me a important lesson too, because it was tough, I think, for you too. Like, we were legitimate friends, but I also had to talk about the Bears. And when the Bears went through bad times, it was like, I can't.
And there was some dark times.
Right. And and people always said I didn't criticize you at all. Mm-hmm. And I still had to at times. And it was like, it was a tough relationship to have at like some dark times. Mm-hmm.
So I think Romeo and Juliet story.
Yeah, we're
two
back.
Star-crossed lovers.
We're back. We always had a good time together.
Yeah. Nice. I like that. That's really romantic.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back.
It feels good.
I'll probably be out in like 2 years again, but that's fine.
I mean,
it goes in cycles.
At this rate,
any good relationship does, though. You're hot and you're cold.
Yeah, right.
You have to enjoy the ups when they're up.
You're right.
You brought it up a second ago, like in the middle of a rough season. That's got to feel just so demoralizing, looking at the calendar and being like, it's October, like the second week in October, and this is going to get worse before it gets better.
Oh, yeah. We're going down a dark road here, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're in a season like that and you know that there's no hope, and there's no reinforcements coming. It's soul crushing.
Yeah. There was a couple. I mean, like the Tressman thing, and I know you've always been like publicly very nice about Mark, but like that one just kind of fell apart, and it fell apart in like the blink of an eye.
Like that.
It was crazy.
On paper, you looked at that team. I think we were talking about it yesterday. Because we saw Marty. You had Marty, you had Alshon, you had B. Marsh, you had Forte. Offensive line wasn't bad. So on paper, it looked legit. But I think what we ran into is you had a lot of different personalities there, and you had some older guys too that were, I'm not gonna say set in their ways, but you have to be able to manage those in the right way, and I think that's where it kind of lost traction of just being able to deal with everybody and keeping everyone focused and keeping everyone on the same track.
Do you have any regrets with like being the leader of a locker room and maybe not doing enough or anything during your career?
Yeah, I mean that one was tough because I think once you lose the locker room with the way that we lost that locker room, from the top down, I think it almost gets pitted, the guys versus, management and coaches, and to step in the middle of that, I think is really risky sometimes.
Right.
Because now you're positioning yourself in a weird place. Like
right.
who's back, who has your back, and which side are you on? So you kind of almost have to pick a side.
Yeah.
Which is rough. I mean, especially when everyone's on the same team. Everyone should have the same goals in mind. But the two parties see it completely different, and that's hard.
Yeah.